You're enjoying Racing World. It's brought to you by Perspective Group. It's your global motorsport podcast show brought to you in conjunction with Race Control Magazine.
Well, welcome to another edition of Racing World. This one is called the Billy Frazer Special. That's right, here we are at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and look who I found. Kiwi sensation and USF2000, Billy Frazer. First of all, welcome to Racing World.
Yeah, thanks David, thanks for having me. It's been a little while since we've caught up, and I'm glad to be on the show.
Well, it's amazing. For those of you who don't know, Billy went through the Elite Motorsport Academy about 4 years ago now. He's been up here in the US for just over 18 months in USF2000 as part of the Road to Indy program. Second season now in USF, currently second in the points championship as well. Big second year for you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that rookie year, I learned so much on and off the track, and yeah, that's the second season, just about halfway point, second in the points, only 1 point behind. It's I feel a lot of momentum building, and I can't wait to this weekend, really watching the Indy cars. It's kind of it's motivated me even further, and I can't wait to finish this championship and hopefully be right up there at the finish.
Well, you get your turn on a little oval, Lucas Raceway Oil Park, as it's referred to, or IRP, which is only about 10 minutes drive from here. It's just a small oval. For you, as last year would have been your first experience on an oval. How different is that to, say, racing at Hampton Downs?
There is no comparison, you know. First of all, I think it's a 5/8 of a mile oval. You've got these walls, and yeah, it's probably got some characteristics of Pukekohe, to be honest. You know,
Okay.
you've got these massive bumps, but then you throw in the camber, the lean, and with Lucas Oil, the fast line is right at the top. So you have to be committed, really. It's how close to that outside wall can you get, because that's where the most grip is. And I love the qualifying format. You know, you have two flying laps. They take the average of the two, starting on brand new tyres. So it's more of a mental game than anything, these ovals, keeping that vision up, keeping focus, because when you've got 70 laps as well, it's in a race, it's pretty special. So it's one I've been looking forward to. I know as a team, we will have a strong car there. My engineers for this season, his background's actually oval racing, so we had a really strong there in April, test there in April, and I can't wait to go out now and do the real thing.
For you, you moved from New Zealand, as I said, about 18 months ago now. This is a big thing for you to do at your age and everything. How have you found that whole transition from living at home with mum and dad to being a flatty up here?
Yeah, it has been a massive change, and probably bigger than I realised, especially when you kind of see the swing in results with the second season, becoming more comfortable, more confident, and yeah, this season it's been Dad and I living in the RV, really. And that's a way to keep the budget down. You know, saving costs and hotels and food, little things like that. You get to control your race weekend a little bit more. So it's been an awesome adventure this so far. You know, starting in Miami and now being all the way up to Wisconsin and back in Indy. So I've really enjoyed my time over here, and getting used to the culture changes. You know, what words, you know, people actually understand. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm really starting to enjoy both the on-track and the off-track.
And for you, I guess, being part of the Road to Indy series, or the ladder series, depending on which terminology you want to use, it does offer you a career growth chart, doesn't it? A bit like what Hunter's doing now, up into Indy Lights. You know, he went through the academy the year before you, but there is a true sense of direction that you can place yourself in.
Yeah, for sure. You know, there's well, you've got the target there, and there's a real logical way of getting there. And the other thing I really appreciate about it is, you know, you get to be with on the IndyCar weekend, so you're actually meeting, whether that's mechanics, IndyCar people, you're actually getting into that culture. So, you know, the relationships I've grown, not with my own team, but, you know, other people that could potentially help me on my career as well, it's been really cool. And, you know, road to Indy, that's where I want to be. I want to be an IndyCar, and it's a great system and a logical way to get there with the Road to Indy.
Well, I can tell you because I did a spot on the Indianapolis Radio Network yesterday. They think very highly of this little young guy here from New Zealand, and Billy Frazer is certainly a star for the future. At least that's what IMS Radio told me, and I don't believe they were kind of, as you would say, sucking up to me at the time. So you're doing good things up here. They're being noticed, and it's a continuation of what you were doing at home as well. And at the academy, we always thought that of you at the same time. Just looking at it from the limited amount of running that you did in TRS back home to this, you now have to have a real relationship with the engineers and data acquisition and all that sort of thing, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Like if I look back at my time in Formula Ford, it was me, Dad, Phil, and Mum. It was a good combination, but that was kind of the entry level of data. And now we look at kind of what we're doing now. You've kind of got to. There's stuff that the engineer will do solely by himself in order to get the car right, but in terms of the level I'm driving at now, you've kind of got to have that confidence that you're doing the right thing. And it's when you're looking at the data now, it's not necessarily about your inputs, but trying to get that combination of how am I affecting the handling of the car and how much of it is actually the car affecting the way that I drive. So you kind of got these two parallels now, that you got to get the most out of your driving, you got to get the most out of your car. So it's been really interesting working with a great engineer like Lou, and even figuring out its radios for the first time as well. I've never ran a radio in New Zealand until the TRS season, so it's just a matter of figuring out what I like on the radio as well, what kind of stuff motivates you and gets you in the zone, and what kind of stuff you don't like. So that's important going into the Oval next weekend. But going back to that data stuff, it's been really interesting just seeing how far my driving has come. Obviously, I've got the laptop, I can see how I used to drive, and sometimes just for fun, you go back and you kind of critique your own driving, and that's the level that you're at now. You've got to be your biggest critic is yourself, so I'm really enjoying it so far.
Talking about radios, I would assume then at IRP you'll have a spotter as well, which is something obviously that you never have had at home.
Yeah, definitely, and it's been quite cool. My spotter last year, he wants to spot me again, and he's actually he's running 1 and 2 for turns 1 and 2 for Takuma Sato actually. So it's been quite cool catching up with him over the weekend, and it's important to have that relationship with your spotter as well. Because they're your eyes and ears from above, and I'll be so focused on what I'm doing, and he'll be able to give me that little bit of guidance that hopefully can take us to a win.
Well, does that mean that you're sort of secretly trying to tell me you and your spotter fancy yourself as 2-time winners of the Indy 500 one day?
Oh, it's quite funny. He's almost, I think he's won IRP and Lucas, he's won at IRP and an Indy Pro. He's won a couple of Indy Lights races, he's won a couple of IndyCar races, but I'm not sure he's won a USF2000 race. So, he's pretty excited to be in with a shot in the 500s, and hopefully we're in with a shot at IRP as well.
Well, I keep thinking back to when this young guy was part of the academy and we were in Otago together in the freezing cold back down there, and just how much you've come since that point in time. You should be very proud of what you've done. If you were a young kid going into the academy this year at home, what would your advice be to them?
My advice would probably be learn as much as you can, and you're probably at a point where you want to take everything as serious as possible, and you can, but don't put that at the cost of your learning. End of the day, I think the biggest thing that I've learned over the last 2 or 3 years is it's important to be yourself and confident with that, and back yourself. If you want to say something, say it, and that's how you learn. So I'm excited that the Academy's done so much for me. I really appreciate it, and the contacts and relationships I've got from that as well. That's been the biggest thing. Like yourself, David, it's been really cool to catch up over the last 4 years, starting with the Academy. So yeah, to these young guys, have a lot of fun, and that's how you learn, and that's how you get the most out of it as well.
Well, I can only say on behalf of the Trust, we're very proud of this. When we see a guy like Billy that succeeds in some of his goal setting and he's only just getting started, it gives us great satisfaction as trustees. And then personally, as a Kiwi motorsport fan, I'm just thrilled to see you achieving personal goals. I'm old and crusty now. I was never going to be a driver, and you're certainly one that's well on the radar. And there's a podium just over there that one day may have your name on it as well.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty cool last weekend, even at the Indy GP, getting up there twice for 2 second places. So Oh, I got my eyes on a glass of milk and the Borg Warner Trophy. That would be pretty special.
Well, I hope he remembers this one day when he's rich and famous as well then. People, if you're not supporting this guy at home, check him out. Billy Frazer, USF2000 this year, part of the exclusive Autosport team. Really great value. This is another Kiwi making his mark in motorsport all around the world, but this is one to watch. So Billy, thanks so much for joining us on Racing World. We wish you all the best at Raceway Park. We'll catch up with you again next week out there.
Yeah, thanks for having me, David, and thanks guys for tuning in.